Hello out there on YouTube and gun channels. Welcome to this week's episode of This Week Unloaded. Sorry for delay. I was waiting to see if any of the invites, anybody responded and showed up for yet, but they haven't. So I decided to go ahead and go live and see where we go from there. I wanted to start off first talking about the Kavanaugh situation. If anybody doesn't know what's going on, it's had started by Dianne Feinstein, allegations that he supposedly, possibly, maybe attempted to rape somebody back when he was in high school. But we'll get into that later. I want to wait to see if I get a panel before discussing that, because that would be one that would definitely be something that would be more fun to have a little bit of back and forth with, somebody to discuss it with. So I know Vanessa Kitty was out there on the YouTube side. I don't know if she's still out there. If you are, good evening to you, ma'am. If you're interested in joining in, I don't know if you've ever been on anybody's show or not, but I believe you're a member over there on Gun Channels. I did throw the link out there in the Gun Channels chat if you want to join in and talk. So, since none of my other panelists are here yet, I figured I might not get Night Strike tonight and SARS because they're in North and South Carolina. So I've pretty much given them a pass on whether they show up or not. So, yeah, I don't know where to go right now because, again, my panel hasn't shown up, and this was definitely going to be a night for a panel discussion. So I guess we could talk a little bit about what Mr. Moonbeam out there in California wants to do. Let me pull that story up real quick. Go ahead and screen share that for you folks out there watching. Hey, the Finny Infinite Screens. All right, which one of these tabs is that one? Oh, yeah, here we are. California will launch its own damn satellite as a swipe at Trump, Governor Moonbeam says. California Government Jerry Brown on Friday said his state will launch its own satellite in a bid to combat climate change, following up on a promise he made after the election of President Trump. We're going to launch our own damn satellite to figure out where pollution is and how we're going to end it, Brown told the audience at the Global Climate Action Summit in San Francisco. The Golden State will work with San Francisco-based Planet Labs to launch a satellite that will track climate change causing pollutants. The company has already launched 150 satellites, Brown said. In California, with science under attack, in fact, we're under attack by a lot of people, including Donald Trump, but the climate threat still keeps growing, Brown added. So we want to know what the hell is going on all over the world, all the time, as if that's his business. The outgoing governor, who will leave at the end of the year and will be replaced by Democrat Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom or Republican businessman John Cox, didn't divulge any on how much it will cost the state to undergo a space-related project that is currently done by the federal government. Brown's office told the Washington Post that government scientists and staff will work on the project, but no money from the state's coffers will be spent toward the development of the satellite. Bullshit. A number of donors have stepped up to fund the experiment, including San Francisco investment banker Richard Lawrence and Jeremy and Hannelore Grantham Environmental Trust. Yeah, I got news for Mr. Moonbeam. He doesn't have the capabilities out there to be trying to start a space program. They have enough debt already. It's just absolutely insane that he would even think that they could do this. I just don't know what to say about this. It just sounds ridiculous on all fronts. You're talking about a state that is billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, or close to trillions of dollars in debt. He wants to start a space program on the state level. Of course, this ain't the first time that Jerry Brown wanted to do this. If you know the history of how he got his nickname Moonbeam, He wanted to do this back in the 70s. I forget what reason he wanted to launch a satellite back then was, but yeah, this is the second time that this jackass wanted to launch a satellite on the taxpayers' dime out there in California. And I don't care what he says. Anybody who thinks that California taxpayers aren't going to at least be paying a large amount of this, I got a bridge in New York I want to sell you, okay? I know it's cliche, but yeah. Hey, Zippy, I see you out there. If you want to join in, Zippy, I threw the link out there in the Gun Channels chat. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now when it comes to this situation here. It's just, I don't know what to say about this. I mean, how crazy is Jerry Brown really? There are countries out there that can't run a successful space program. He wants his state to do it. All right, then, Einstein. This product may contain substances known to cause the state of California. Are we talking a green leafy substance? Because from what I hear, there's a lot of that going on out there in California. Excuse me, folks. Mouth was getting a little dry there. Yeah, okay, since you're laughing at that, I would assume that, yes, that is the substance we are talking about. But yeah, there definitely is a lot of that out there in California. You probably got a lot of those little communes out there where people were trying to grow it on their own too, but we're not going to get into that because that's not today's topic. But yeah, no, battling a sinus infection and being the only one here to talk does not well, doesn't work well. So I apologize if I have a little coughing fit here and there. I'll try not to be too graphic with the coughing. So anybody else out there got any takes on Mr. Brown? I mean, he literally and he also thinks it's his business, the state of California's business, what the entire world is doing. Isn't he one of the ones, if I remember correctly, who always was saying it's not the United States business to stick our nose in things that are going everywhere else? And yet here he is wanting to stick California's nose in people's environmental policies. You know, there's a word for people that are like that, Mr. Jerry Brown. It's called hypocrite. Look in the mirror, you'll see one. But then again, I guess being a hypocrite goes hand in hand with being a Democrat in California. I mean, look at Dianne Feinstein. Take everybody's guns, but yet she went and got a concealed carry permit because somebody was threatening and stalking her. Okay for her, not everybody else. That's a hypocrite, ma'am. And speaking of Miss Feinstein, any of you been following what's been going on with Feinstein and the Kavanaugh nomination lately? Wait a second so y'all can respond after because I know YouTube's behind. I was curious how many of you been seeing what's going on. Yeah, I agree with you, Einstein. They should be spending that money on that stuff. Maybe clean up the streets of San Francisco so San Francisco doesn't look like a toilet bowl. Literally. Yeah. Okay, so Zippy, you've heard a little bit about it. Yeah, apparently, what's going on in that situation is, let's see if I can pull up screen share again real quick here. Here come the infinite windows. All right. Okay. We'll start with the wrong one. That's Moonbeam again. There we go. California professor Christine Ford claims Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her. It derailed me. The woman accusing Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault came forward with her explosive allegations on Sunday, saying the supposed attack derailed me substantially for 4 or 5 years. Wow, that's amazing, seeing how she's a college professor. Couldn't have affected her that bad. And claiming that the episode rendered her unable to have healthy relationships with men, or it just might have been her. The woman, Christine Ford, is a professor at Palo Alto University, according to the Washington Post, which published her account on Sunday. Her decision to go public has capped a whirlwind week that began when Senator Dianne Feinstein, there's Miss Feinstein again, Democrat California, sent shockwaves through Washington by announcing that she had sent the FBI information about Kavanaugh she received from an anonymous accuser in July. She got this information in July. She just sent it this week. Okay? Tell me if that's not funny. It's also threatened to upend Kavanaugh's confirmation as top Democrats call for a full investigation. Republicans immediately pushed back Sunday, saying it was disturbing that the decades-old allegations surfaced just days before the Judiciary Committee is set to vote on whether to advance Kavanaugh's confirmation to the Senate floor. Republicans have given no indication that they intend to delay Thursday's key vote, as a series of Democratic senators demanded throughout the day. It's disturbing that these excuse me, folks, that these uncorroborated allegations from more than 35 years ago during high school would surface on the eve of a committee vote after Democrats sat on them since July, Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican Iowa, said in a statement. If Ranking Member Feinstein and other committee Democrats took this claim seriously, they should have brought it to the full committee attention much earlier, he continued. Well, we know how they work. Instead, they said nothing during 2 joint phone calls with the nominee in August, 4 days of lengthy public hearings, a closed session for all committee members with the nominee whose sensitive topics would be discussed, and in more than 1,300 written questions. Wow. Okay. So they knew about this in July. They've gone through 1,300 written questions with the man, a closed session, 4 days of public hearings, and a phone call, and nobody brought this up before now. Yeah, okay, sure. This is believable. Grassley called on Feinstein to publicly release the letter she received in July so that everyone can know what she's known for weeks, try months, supposedly. He added that the sudden reveal of the allegations raises a lot of questions about Democrats' tactics and motives, and noted that no similar allegations had surfaced in Kavanaugh's past despite 6 separate federal background checks throughout his career. Ford, a 51-year-old registered Democrat, surprise, who has published in academic journals and has trained students in clinical psychology, described the alleged incident in the Washington Post on Sunday, saying it occurred during a summer day in the 1980s at a Maryland house where teens had gathered. Ford claimed she headed upstairs to a bathroom when she was suddenly pushed onto a bed. In the bathroom. She was pushed onto a bed in the bathroom. Right. As rock and roll music blared. Okay, and that's enough of that article. Let's look at the other one. Of course, Kavanaugh denies this, and, well, he should at this point, because we got one unsubstantiated report from a college professor who, 51-year-old Democrat. I don't think she's a Kavanaugh or Trump fan to begin with. So let's just go with this one. vigorously denies claims involving an alleged high school incident made in an undisclosed letter and turned over to FBI by Senator Dianne Feinstein. I wonder what Feinstein's motives could possibly be. I categorically and unequivocally deny this allegation. I did not do this back in high school or at any time, Kavanaugh 53 said in a statement Friday. Feinstein ignited controversy Thursday by releasing a statement saying she turned information. Well, we already went over that from the other article. Fox News confirmed that the letter involved an allegation about Kavanaugh while student at Georgetown Preparatory School in Bethesda, Maryland, in the 1980s. A woman who was also in high school at the time accused Kavanaugh in the letter of holding her down and trying to force himself on her during a party before she got away. The details were first reported Friday by The New Yorker. The woman also claimed Kavanaugh was joined at the time by a friend who turned up music to conceal her protest. But that unnamed classmate reportedly told The New Yorker, I have no recollection of that. Meanwhile, the Judiciary Committee on Friday received a letter from 65 women, okay? 65 women who said they knew Kavanaugh from high school and vouched for him as a good person. The letter was addressed to Feinstein and Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican, Iowa. We are women who have known Brett Kavanaugh for more than 35 years and knew him while he attended high school between 1979 and 1983, the letter obtained by Fox News reads. For the entire time we have known Brett Kavanaugh, he has behaved honorably and treated women with respect. We strongly believe it is important to convey this information to the committee at this time. So what we have here, folks, is one woman, and considering she's a 51-year-old Democrat, not a fan of Kavanaugh, not a fan of Trump, and probably not very much of a fan of America either, since she's a college professor. No offense, Vanessa. You're one of the exceptions to the rule. All right, what do we got here? Sorry, I've been paying attention to the chat because I was reading that for y'all. Yeah, the way I see, yeah, Einstein, I agree. And the way I see it is they're trying to Judge Kavanaugh. If you remember the situation with Roy Moore, where they pulled up all this stuff that ended up being where that accuser admitted on national television that she had lied about the situation and made it up. I think we got the same kind of situation here because it's funny. You know, the committee hearings are wrapping up. It's going to a vote on Thursday whether to go to the full Senate. And all of a sudden, now Feinstein's out there waving this, hey, I got this letter. I got this letter. Yeah, you know what? Sorry, Feinstein. Don't believe you. And I don't believe your so called victim either. And I also find it interesting that this victim who says that she was messed up for 4 or 5 years just so happened to go on to get a degree in psychiatry. Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing just seems funny, and not the ha ha funny. Like, this is California funny. And again, both of these stories just show how crazy California is because both of these come out of California. If you look at Dianne Feinstein, the college professor, and then Brown went to launch satellites. You know what, Einstein? I think you're onto something. You may have hit onto the California version of the theory of relativity. It's all relative to how much pot they're all smoking. Well, Zippy, you're not wrong. I mean, look at Nazi Germany, Night of the Long Knives, the night when Hitler got rid of all the useless idiots, or useful idiots, I should say. Excuse me. For those of you who don't know what that is, there was The brown shirts were what was known as the SD at the time. The later there would also be a later SD, which was actually part of the SS and was the secret police among the military in Germany. But the brown shirt SDs were the teenagers and whatnot. They were going around promoting the party, going out there and getting into fights with the communists and beating the shit out of each other. Oops, I said a bad word. Anyway, they were out there doing this, and one night, all these brown shirts got rounded up, and they all disappeared, shall we say? Some of them in a very bloody way of disappearing, and that came to be known as the Night of the Long Knives. It was basically Hitler's people purging the SD from the ranks so that they could look to improve their own self-image. But yeah, that's what that was. Oh, and by the way, the communists that were fighting were the original Antifa, not the actual brown shirts who now call themselves Antifa. Two different. If these idiots, getting on that, if these idiots in Antifa actually knew better, they'd be running around with brown shirts and Nazi swastikas and not running around calling themselves Antifa, because they're not Antifa. They're the exact opposite. They're the guys that Antifa wouldn't kill back in the 30s. But that's another topic for another day. Unless y'all want to go on with the history lesson, I don't know. I'm just trying to fill time since nobody showed up tonight. But again, if any of y'all want to jump in, be my guest. The link is out there on the Gun Channel side. You're welcome to join in. That way I'm not talking to myself here. Well, I guess I'm talking to you, but I'm the only one talking. Well, you get what I mean. Yes, they should, Zippy. I agree completely. Antifa should be considered terrorists. Haven't a couple of states gone in on their own, declared them terrorists, if I remember correctly? And I think at least one federal agency was trying to push for it. Was it DHS that was trying to push for Antifa to be declared terrorists? When Bush took over. When Trump took over. I don't remember. And to be honest, Antifa actually were terrorists back in Germany too. They were blowing up buildings and setting fires and whatnot back then. So that part Antifa's got right. They got the wanting to cause violence part right from the original Antifa. They're still wearing the wrong clothes. Though I must say that some of the ones have the appropriate hats. If you haven't seen, where I think it was Fleckus Talks did a video where he was out there interviewing Antifa people, and a few of them were running around with hats, like the ski caps and whatnot, with dildos sewn to them. So, some Antifa are wearing appropriate headgear because they are all a bunch of, well, you can figure it out. Yeah, they did in Tennessee. I think they either did here in West Virginia or it was proposed to be. And I'm pretty sure DHS wanted them declared as terrorists as well. And I think there was a few other states that did too. This country has really got some serious issues going on right now, between a lot of it coming from places like California. It makes you wonder sometimes. It really, really does. How did we get so far off track? Could you imagine what the founders would do if they came here and saw what's going on? It's insane. So it almost just like what Khrushchev said. They'll eventually win, slowly but surely. And That was his belief, even if that we managed to beat the Soviet Union, that they would eventually win anyway because, well, look what's going on. And so we got to fight back against them. But the problem is, just like this professor out there in California, they've already infiltrated a lot of the schools. And not everybody can homeschool their kids. I know my wife and I couldn't because we just couldn't afford to. Um, and couldn't afford to send our kids to private school. Luckily, where we live, they weren't doing Common Core, and we knew the teachers on first name basis. They're all conservative or conservative leaning, at least centrist at the most. Not a single teacher in the school voted for Obama. Let me put it that way. So, we didn't have that issue with our kids going to public school. But man, I, I would not want to have to send my kids to public schools other places. Again, Vanessa, I know you're a teacher and you're one of the few that don't fall into that category. You and Travis P11 and Grim 90. I can't think of anybody else that's a teacher off the top of my head right now that's involved in the community. But you three are definitely exceptions to the rule. And yeah. And thank you three for being exceptions to the rule. Well, now that we got that out of the way, anybody out there in the chat have anything they want to bring up or talk about? Give y'all time to come up, speak now, see, because since I don't have a panel, I ran through these topics faster than I was hoping. So I don't know what else to talk about right now. I could talk about my flashlight. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's just a flashlight. I don't know if I want to do a review on a flashlight on a live chat. Oh, let me see. I don't have Instagram. Let me see if I can pull up Instagram real quick. Do a little promotion for Rick, who had a link but didn't show up, even though he said he was going to try to, but he may have fallen asleep. He said Sundays are his rest day, so he may have been sleeping. It's okay. Yeah, I don't have Instagram set up on this computer. Oh well. I was just going to show off the box that Potatoes and Lead made for him, but I don't have that set up on this computer. Set up on my two-in-one. Yep, it's not there. Sage. And my wife comes in being loud. Let me watch it. Apparently, the kitty was bad in front of the front door. Yeah, we think my daughter's cat has anxiety issues. When my wife or youngest daughter leave the house, he goes potty in front of the door. While they're home, it doesn't happen. As soon as both of them are gone, there's piddle on the floor. Hi, there, A&A. How are you tonight, sir? I don't know if you've caught any of the what I was talking about yet before you got here, and that we were talking about uh, Governor Moonbeam wanting to launch satellites and sexual allegations that I believe are false against Judge Kavanaugh. And if you want to join in the panel, which consists of me, the link is out there on the gun channel side in the chat for this channel. I wish my wife would learn to be quiet.
What?
Not my own time. Yep, we were already talking about that too, eh?
What?
Not. My wife is one of those people, when she hears somebody talking, they have to be talking to her. So forgive me if you hear her in the background. But anyway, yeah, we were talking about that too, comparing people like Antifa to the brown shirts back during the Nazi era, and not the actual Antifa. The only thing they got right is the violence part. They should be wearing the other side's clothes with the swastika armbands. Yeah, sorry, folks. Family decided they wanted to come in and talk. So I had to mute the microphone for a few minutes. I'm still here. Yeah, Vanessa, we're live. We're live. I even thanked you for being one of the good teachers out there that's not a leftist, and you weren't even in the room to hear. Ah, the humanity. Yeah, I know. I got quiet for a little bit. Like I said, my wife and daughter decided they were going to come in and start talking, so I muted the microphone for a few minutes. Sorry about that. And yeah, Einstein, it's quiet over there on gun channels. G-Webs usually jumps in, but over there on the gun channel side, but I think he's doing his tour this weekend, so yeah. That's okay, A&A. If you can't jump in, I understand. Yeah, you're one of the good ones. You're not one of those left card-carrying communists trying to indoctrinate the youth of the country. You, Travis P11, Grim 90, yet the three of you are good ones out there, just out there trying to teach people something. It looks like one. It definitely looks like one. But then when you open it up, it's more like an office. I don't think I'm going to be getting a panel this week. And if you were a science teacher, you could teach them calculus and physics. Got a science teacher that's not afraid of firearms where you teach? Nah, I don't. I don't think his band says that. I think you're confusing that with Mr. Tinker Train, the Ozzy Osbourne song. Now, physics has a lot to do with math. Physics and math go hand in hand. Lots and lots of equations in both. Uh huh. Exactly. That's which is why I said if you got a physics teacher where you teach who's not afraid of shooting, the two of you can get together and put a class together involving firearms, one showing the physics aspect, one showing the mathematical aspect, and how they interplay with each other. If that makes sense. Who knows? Maybe at this point I'm just rambling since I'm all by myself. I did have a good dinner tonight. My wife made sweet and sour pork with rice or oolong noodles, whichever one you wanted. Yeah, it's basically what I was talking about doing. So you could do, Anyway, I think you get the gist of what I was saying. Just yeah, yep, I agree with both of you, Vanessa and A. There's a lot of physics and math that goes into how a firearm works. When you actually, other than just this hits this and this hits that, and that causes that to happen. When you get into the chemical reactions and everything that are involved, there's in the exact process of figuring out the proper spiral for your rifling, all that good stuff. There's a lot of science and math that goes into figuring that stuff out. From the largest rifled howitzer all the way down to the smallest little 22 Derringer. It all works on the same general principles. Why does a 357 Magnum hurt more than a 22 long rifle? Oh, one, it's a bigger bullet moving the same speed. Mass, the larger mass moving at that speed is going to deliver more energy, which is going to make for a much more severe wound as far as size is concerned. Even though if as I've stated on previous shows before, if you talk to ER doctors, not lethality of the wound, but the worst wounds they've had to treat come from a 22, because a 22 will get in your rib cage and ricochet around like a mother, and just put all kinds of little holes in different organs and whatnot. You're really nasty. But as far as a single round and why it would hurt more, yeah, that's why it would hurt more. You have mass delivering, moving at the same speed, which generates more energy when it impacts. It just dumps all that into the target. Yeah. Nope, can't say I got that far in math to be doing that I can remember anyway. It's been so long since I've taken any of those type of math classes. When I was in college, my course, the only thing they let me take was math for liberal arts, which I absolutely hated. That class was a pain in the rear end because instead of just being one subject, they try and fit all these math things into one 8-week course. And I was like, can't I just take college algebra or something, And they're like, nope, you got to take this, which throws in elements of algebra, geometry, trig, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to take that class. Yeah. If my advice to anybody out there who's in college or has children that are soon going to be going to college, take your math classes on campus if at all possible. Yes, missiles are guided, rockets are not. That's the rule of thumb. Oh, I guess I would if we're talking military rocket fired missiles anyway, because if they say you got a sling and you're throwing around a rocket, technically that's a missile once it leaves that sling. But they actually used to term them that at one point. But yeah, when it comes military, rule of thumb is missiles are guided and rockets aren't. Students today probably look at an abacus and see a baby toy. Hey, nice strikes here.
Hey, am I late?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I didn't know if you. I was going to excuse you and Sarge because I didn't know what your situation was due to the weather anyway. I just sent a link out on the, on the whim that maybe you would be able to join in.
Yeah, no, all of that they overestimated, and I guess the weather underdelivered. I don't
know. In your area, I mean, there's parts of North Carolina where they're getting all kinds of floods.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't live in North Carolina.
But not as bad as what CNN is making it out to be.
Well, if what CNN is making it out to be, maybe I should open up a GoFundMe and say I need money.
Oh, did you see the video that somebody caught on their cell phone of Anderson Cooper getting ready to report, and he literally was kneeling down into a big puddle to make it look like the water was up to his waist?
Yeah, I know. I saw that, and I'm just saying I was being sarcastic when I said that earlier. So, I wouldn't ask for any help unless I actually needed help.
Yeah, I was just talking about the silliness.
And I saw that the travesty where they had a fan and they had like a water hose trying to make it passable, and I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah, what about the one where the weather guy for CNN is standing there like rocking back and forth like he's being blown by the wind, and then the camera pans and there's two kids standing there behind him looking at him like he's an idiot. That was special too. CNN can't even do the weather truthfully at this point. We thought they were bad on politics.
Oh.
Now, speaking of which, have you heard about what's going on with Kavanaugh this weekend?
All I'm gonna say is if they succeed, then they better not bank on ever choosing a Supreme Court nomination during any other presidency from now on. If the Democrats choose a Supreme Court nominee, we're just going to go in blanket statement say, "Oh, that person went and did something. That one person did something to somebody that hurt them, and you know what? Because they're trying to put something on someone that they didn't do. But the problem is that kind of shit. They can't, even if you have, unless you have absolute proof that you didn't do anything, you're guilty no matter what.
Yeah, Feinstein is legitimately at this point trying to Roy Moore Judge Kavanaugh. Ironically enough, Roy Moore, a former judge. It's like, it's basically the same thing. Get some random accuser from the woodwork to say that something happened 35, 40 years ago. Okay, if it happened 35, 40 years ago, why are we now hearing about it only now? And if Feinstein had this letter back in July, why are we only hearing about it now? Yeah, that was one of the topics we were discussing earlier. And then you got Governor Moonbeam. Have you heard the latest from Governor Moonbeam?
Okay. Governor Moonbeam, that's the California governor, right?
Yeah, that's Jerry Brown.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how he got the nickname Moonbeam?
No.
Back in the 1970s, he wanted to start a space program in California. Guess what he wants to do now?
Oh yeah, he wants to put a satellite up in space.
Yes, the U.S. needs to keep their nose out of other people's business once on a satellite so he can stick his nose in other people's business.
Well, all right. I'm going to say something, and it's going to be a blanket statement, and I may get in trouble for saying it. And but I think we've given California enough time. Okay, if you live in California and you aren't actively going and protesting against this shit, if you don't get numbers of people out there to protest that shit, then you're fucking insane, and it's one thing. Two, what the fuck's wrong with you? And three, get out there and do something. Hell, start a civil war in California if you have to, but seriously, go out and protest this shit.
Yeah.
You don't like what's going on in California? Do something about it. Stop being a little bitch sitting on your fucking couch watching TV eating potato chips instead of going out and getting your damn rights back.
Yeah, and the best part about this whole thing, he's saying that the state of California isn't going to be responsible for putting any money into this. Bullshit! Like I said earlier, anybody who doesn't think that the taxpayers in California are at least going to fit a major portion of the cost of this, I have a bridge I want to sell you in New York City. Because if you think that, you're a dumbass. And I will gladly sell you a bridge.
I think some parts of California need to be firebombed.
Yeah.
It's sad, but oh wait, no, bad choice of words. It's already happening. Those are those wildfires. Never mind.
Yeah, and Einstein out there on the YouTube side, I think hit on the whole thing earlier. I believe he's come across the theory of relativity as it relates to California. In California, their politics relates to how much weed they have smoking or spoken. Smoking. Yeah. My mouth keeps drying out, so if I'm getting tongue-tied, I apologize, folks. But, yeah. You ain't gonna tell me Jerry Brown's not a pothead. I'm sorry.
I'm tired. I mean, I've said some good things about California, and I know what's there good to say about it, but there are a few things. But right now, as it stands, I'm done with California. I don't think unless something monumental comes out in the news, I don't think I'm ever going to go and do any news on California yet. I just don't think it's happening.
I just had to because of how ridiculous it was. I mean, this isn't even the whole situation with their being sanctuary state and all this other stuff. This was just absolutely batshit crazy insanity. I mean, there are countries out there that can't successfully put together a space program, and he wants the state of California to do so. I mean, wasn't there just a private rocket that the type that he says he wants to use? I don't know if you've seen the article or not that I was showing earlier, but he wants to use a private company. And wasn't there a private company not that long ago just had one of their rockets blow up when they were trying to test it? So, I mean, Vanessa, I think that's a problem everywhere, not just California. I don't think everybody who's eligible to vote in the vast majority of states actually goes out and does. Especially when you look at the numbers, when they show the numbers of people that they estimate voted every election. You get like, what, 45 million people voting for one side and 45 million voting for the other. That's 90 million people. And I'm splitting it down the middle because there's a couple 100,000 here, a couple 100,000 there. But if we estimate, I mean, that's a good estimation because you usually get into the mid 40s and the millions of people voting. That's only 90 million out of a population of what, 300 to 400 million people. If 40% of those are kids underage, just a random estimation, say half of them are children, right? That still leaves you with 200 to 150 million people and still only 90 million of the population voting. That's a problem.
I'm done. No more California.
That's not just California, that's the entire country.
I'm done. I've got nothing left to give. Sorry. I'm so unhappy and disappointed in the country, in our government, in politics. I don't know what else to do. I don't want to do anything that causes violence because then people are saying I'm going to, claim me or anybody I associate with violent people, but I'm not violent.
Well, the last thing I want to see is a civil war in this country. I mean, that's not going to do us any good. And anything, that's going to make things worse, the way I see it. As soon as we start fighting ourselves, you're going to see other people like the Chinese and whatnot. They're going to want to stick their noses in. And you're going to have, I guarantee you, there are going to be people swarming across the southern border. And a civil war in this country would not be a good thing. I wish people would get that through their heads. If anybody out there is in that crowd, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I see it. I just don't see it being a good thing. I'm not saying I wouldn't go out there if it came down to that, but I don't want to see it. ANA, I don't think it would be a civil war, and I don't think it would be the Second American Revolution. I think we would end up with the French Revolution. Anybody knows our history knows where I'm going with that.
We're losing a war to ourselves. All right, please tell me you've got another topic. Something else, something we can talk about.
Well, again, like I was saying earlier, I was hoping that there would have been a bigger panel where we could have talked more about the Kavanaugh situation, because that was the main topic I had. The Moonbeam thing was supposed to be the happy, haha, look at this moron, you know, bring everything back to a happy place after the Kavanaugh one. Because basically, the whole idea of that one was just to make fun of Jerry Brown.
Yeah.
Bernie, what's he got? What's he got?
Got a wrapper.
Their silly daughter's cat just came from behind the couch with a wrapper. Do something. So if you hear me saying, what's he got? That's what I'm trying to figure out what he's got. I don't know.
Granola bar wrapper.
He found a random granola bar wrapper.
He's watching videos if they did something wrong.
And they're out there having a ballistics conversation in the YouTube chat.
Well, apparently, no. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about California. So.
You do or you don't? Because you're about to bring something up.
I was about to bring something up, but I stopped myself.
ANA and Vanessa, I talked to you. So, yeah. And I got more than one occasion, I might add. I know you re-enlistment. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, I did it in high school too. When you, for those of you who don't know, when you enroll in the junior ROTC program in high school, you give the same oath of enlistment that you give when you go and enlist in the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard. You give the exact same oath. So yes, I did it in high school, and then I did it for real as well. So.
Okay, well, here's something interesting. Side chat.
Huh? Oh. Well, say about it. I mean,
well, it's your show. You can say we can talk about it, or we don't want to talk about it.
You've pretty much become the sidekick here. So if you got something you want to talk about,
well, did you hear the John Garand's personal presentation M1 sold for $287,000?
surprised they didn't go for more.
Excuse me, John Garand.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Considering the price of what some firearms go, I wouldn't be surprised.
This was his, I guess, that he presented to the U.S. Army. Sold for $287,000, which I think it should have sold for much more, but they made millions of these things. So,
that's what I'm saying. You know, when you look at some other firearms, just because of who owned it and whatnot, and the provenance of it, you think that it would sell more. You know, like Lincoln's Henry rifle, for example. That went for over $1 million last time it sold. I think one of Teddy Roosevelt's guns went for a buttload of money, more than upwards of close to $1 million. So, you know, you would think it would go at least $500,000, maybe.
I just saw that and I just figured I'd touch on that because I thought that was interesting, an interesting tidbit to know.
Oh yeah.
Because I think well we all go over these topics. I try and stay to guns, but sometimes I get off topic and I get off the track a little bit on hit or miss. But the point is that the reason I do it is because I love the Constitution, I love the Second Amendment, and I love our country. And unfortunately, I'm losing that love when it comes to the country because there are some elements of this country I do not love.
There's some elements of the country I know going back. I know I said I don't want to see a civil war or anything, but there's some elements of this country I would just like to punch in the mouth.
Right after I kicked them in the balls.
Well, some of them don't have those.
Well, no, that's a misnomer. Some of them are probably transgender.
Yes, and ANA's asking about you. Yeah, Night Strike is home and safe.
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. As I said before, they lifted the evacuation right after I got the cars packed. I didn't go anywhere. Pissed me off, but hey.
Yeah, we got another one of the good teachers out there. How you doing tonight, Mr. Grimm? Mr. Reaperman, if you want to join in, the link is over on the Gun Channel side. So if y'all want to jump in, you can.
Yeah, Graham, get your butt in here. That's another person I met at Tulsa.
Hmm?
Yeah.
What? I didn't hear what you said. My wife's running to back upstairs.
Graham was at Tulsa.
Yeah. Was he at Tulsa?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get to go, so I don't know. Again, because my wife told me the day before that, oh, you could go.
Well, then you should have gotten an airplane ticket.
With what money?
Oh, that's right. You are married and you have kids. Never mind.
Yeah, if she would have said something like a few months earlier, I was going to get a hold of Cycle Camp and see if I could have begged him for a ride. You know, him and John Z. Because they would have had to have gone by here pretty much anyway. You know, I could have met them like in Cumberland, Maryland. They could have came down like 95 and then came across 70 to 68 and met them somewhere like up in Cumberland or something. Yeah. But,
did you hear what happened when Cycle Camp drove down to Tulsa?
what now?
Well, halfway through the trip, Cycle Camp and I guess and the group thought they weren't sure what was going on, but the car kept curving to the right, so they had to adjust for it and whatnot. And when they got to Tulsa, they finally found out that the rear axle, there was a problem with the rear axle.
Oh, that's always nice.
So, he had to get that fixed in Tulsa before he left.
Did Clover get out there with his multi-tool and fix it like he did the water pump back last November in Tulsa?
No. Basically, no. He just his insurance covered it.
I know, I was joking. Whose vehicle was it? Was it back in November when they were there, where somebody's water pump went and Clover was like
the year before it. I think that was Ghost.
Yeah, that was November. That was November's excursion when they went.
Yeah. November 17th. Yeah. But if I can swing it this next year, maybe I will go again to Tulsa in April. But I'm not going to be able to go for November. No fucking way.
Yeah, I gotta wait. I'm waiting to see what happens with the VA.
The VA?
Yep.
What, are you a veteran?
Man, you don't keep up with things, do you?
I don't pay a pension, all right?
Yeah, what was being said 5 minutes ago. We're all talking about how we took the oath, and then
I didn't take the oath, okay?
no, not you, Vanessa, me, and A. Oh.
All right, I'm not watching the chat, okay?
Vanessa's asking what's happening. Yeah, I got to go for reevaluation for medical compensation. That's what's happening. That's on October 6th. I go to Martinsburg, West Virginia, and get that straightened out.
Oh boy, let's see this video.
I probably wouldn't even be bothering with the VA right now, except for the fact that the doctor for my arm is still saying, nope, you can't work, and we need the money. So at this point, I'm, you know,
Can't you draw unemployment or something? Or not unemployment, but disability or something?
nope, nope, nope. I cannot claim disability because it's a temporary disability. But the VA thing, there's another issue that I have, which is linked to the reason why I was discharged from basic training, which then would be because it's service related. So that I would be able to get disability through the VA. But I have to go for reevaluation for that. If you follow what I'm saying.
I'm following it right now.
So as far as like Social Security disability, no, I don't qualify.
Surprised you don't qualify where there's thousands of Americans that do. And they do even they've done even less than you. Not that I'm trying to talk down to you, right? Saying,
Yeah.
I see people who, drive expensive cars, live in, one-room shacks, but they get disability, food stamps, and everything. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Well, Vanessa, in my case, when I went to basic training, I was diagnosed with excessive hypertension, which I had never been diagnosed before in my life with, and it has now been estimated by another doctor that hypertension disorder that I was discharged through, or was actually connected to kidney disease. So now I have to go through everything that I went through before with the VA, which I did qualify for VA medical before as far as the treatment and stuff, but they said I wasn't disabled enough to qualify for monetary. But now they want to reevaluate that because before they said I was less than 10%, but now with everything else, one doctor says that it could be anywhere from 40 to 50, maybe 60% is a rating. So now I got to go and get that all redone all over again. I haven't used the VA since I was first told that, yeah, we can treat you for it, but we're not going to give you any money or anything. And frankly, the distance it was to the VA hospital just for the treatment when my wife had insurance wasn't worth going to the VA to get the medical treatment. Just for a blood pressure. For at that time, all they were doing was giving me a blood pressure pill, which, according to the doctor I have now, I don't even need at this point because my current doctor is happy with my blood pressure, but they're not happy with the kidney function. So yeah, that's another problem I got, in case anybody was wondering. But that one doesn't keep me from working. No, it's my arm that is the reason why I can't work right now. One of these days, it's just going to get straightened out, and I won't have that problem. Hopefully. Anybody else got any questions they want to ask about my medical history?
I wasn't trying to pry, dude. I was just.
No, I know. I was joking. It's an open book. I'm not. I don't care if there's any. I mean,
The only thing I've got wrong with me is I'm fat and I need to lose weight. That's about it. Maybe I should take notes from Dog Buddy. We get a gym membership.
Dog Body or Angry.
Have you seen Dog Body's pictures on Instagram?
Yeah. Have you seen Angry's? They both have lost a lot of weight.
I've never seen Angry's, but I've seen Dog Body's, Dog Body has actually lost a bit of weight.
Yeah, so is Angry.
So thinking maybe
They
if I
both
go and work out a bit, I can lose that 120 pounds that I need to lose to where to be in the actual size I want to be again.
Yeah, Angry and Dog Body both look like they're out there trying to create the Gun Channel's bodybuilding division.
I don't like lifting weights. I just want to get the flab off. That's all I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of the beer gut.
Plastic surgeons are good for that.
No, because that's a placebo.
And it was also a joke.
And it's not plastic surgery; it's called liposuction,
which is a form of plastic surgery. Because you don't just get lipo, you also get a tuck to get rid of all that excess fat, the skin from that. You don't know about the whole liposuction and tummy tuck?
I don't pay attention to that shit.
Yeah, that's plastic surgeons that do that surgery too.
So I just came across a video of a guy who basically took a 12 gauge to his high point 9mm handgun, and he called the high point up and said he's been doing some extreme testing and he needed replacement parts for it. They sent him replacement parts, and he used those parts to fix the high point that he shot with a 12 gauge. It still works.
Don't sleep on them high points, man. I'm telling you. They might not be the prettiest gun in the world.
You can drag them through the mud and they will work.
I was watching Buck Rogers last night because
Buck Rogers does the 20
from the 25th century, yeah.
Yeah.
But MeTV, which is one of those
MeTV.
you get off of if you have one of the digital antennas. Well, Comcast has that. I was watching Buck Rogers last night, and interestingly enough, the blasters from Buck Rogers look similar to a high point.
Yeah, way before high points were made.
Yeah. You'd think whoever came up with high point was a Buck Rogers fan?
Possibly.
Yeah, they might be big, bulky, and ugly, but hard to break one if you got one unless you got one that's bad from the factory, which even now, that's a rare occurrence. They just do what they're supposed to. Yeah, I'm just not a Glock fan, Vanessa. That grip angle is just I can't get used to it. It doesn't feel natural in my hand. But I can say the same thing you are about your Glock with my shield. If I'm using the stock barrel for the shield, my threaded barrel is ammo dependent. Like, it works with flat tips, fine, okay. It works with hollow points as long as they don't have a polymer insert in the hollow point, because they didn't get the specs right on the barrel. The company that I got it from insists that they did. And if you got something with a more rounded or where the polymer front sticks out from the hollow point, like say a Hornady Critical Defense, or the rounds that I carry, which are the Corbon made Glazer Powerball, which has a polymer ball, which makes it like a round nose bullet. When they feed upwards, they catch instead of feeding directly into the chamber, they catch at the top, right at where they would pivot down into the chamber. You follow me? Right strike?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm still following you.
So you end up every so many rounds, you might end up with a failure to feed when using that type of round with that barrel. But when I have the stock barrel in, it feeds everything, no issue. I cannot get that thing to malfunction for anything.
Interesting.
It's wholly because of the way the barrel sits in it. Hold my little shield here, and it's turn this thing on here. Okay, everybody see the shield. See back here? When I put the threaded barrel in, as you can see, I have the stock barrel in right now. When I put the threaded barrel in, see how the slide lines up with the back right now? How it's perfectly aligned with the back of the frame. When I rub my finger on it like this, you cannot feel where the slide stops, and even though you got that little bit, when you slide your finger down it, you really can't feel that, right?
Right.
When I put the other barrel in, this part up here, the slide, is sitting just the slightest little bit forward of the bottom, or the top, I should say, of the frame.
You do realize that some barrels, some fitting is required.
You can't fit it. I would have to take it to a gunsmith and have them add material to the front of the barrel locking lug to get it to fit right.
That's where they would have to do it.
Yeah, I can't do it myself.
That's what I'm saying. Some fittings required. Most often than not, you can't do it yourself. You need a gunsmith to do it. More often than not, they can do it just fine.
Yeah, if there was too much material, I could easily have done it. But what I did was I made a little
moving material is easy. Getting and adding material is not.
Oh yeah, just to test my theory on that, right? I took some duct tape and made a little patch and stuck it to the front of it. I did not try shooting it with duct tape, guys. Okay, before anybody goes saying anything, and I stuck that to the front of the barrel lug. Okay, and that when I did that, then we had the slide and the frame matching up perfectly where they're supposed to be. And I hand fed a couple of rounds through by racking the slide. Not an issue. But yeah. Oh, by the way, nice strike. The company I bought it from said there shouldn't have been any fitting necessary. That they test fit all barrels before shipping them. Just so you know, that's also was their claim. If anybody's wondering, it was Lone Wolf Manufacturing. I've heard people say they had no problem with their Glock parts. I can't say I had the same experience with the barrel for my shield. Oh, by the way, they also said I sent it back to them once for warranty. They polished the chamber and said, "Oh, it's fine." Got it back. Had the same issue. I made them a video that I sent them, and they said, "Okay, we're going to send you a return shipping box, and we'll see what we can do." I never got the return shipping box to send the barrel back to them on their dime that time, and I never heard back from them on any of my subsequent emails either. So
there may be a reason why.
Well, they're a popular company when it comes to Glock parts and everything. So, some people have said they had good experiences with their customer service. I can't make that same claim. But yeah, I mean, it was when I ordered the barrel, they were the only ones that had one in stock.
Well, there you go.
Oh, and another thing, they sent me. I ordered the scratch, not what is it? Scratch and dent, I guess you could say, where the finish is a little off or something along those lines, right? when I ordered it, those were not on clearance and they were not on closeout, right? I asked them for a refund. I was just going to send the barrel back to them and be done with it. This is one thing they did get back to me with. Oh, we can't because that item has been discontinued. It wasn't when I bought it.
That's why some of those companies I don't do business with.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to find like a gunsmith and then add a little bit of material probably to it and get that when I get the money to do so. I do like the barrel. I mean, when I got an email that'll run through it, the barrel works perfectly fine. But it doesn't do me any damn good if I can't use my carry ammo in it. And like I said before, when you get with 40 Smith and Wesson, the 180 grain stuff, which is the only other thing I have in a hollow point, kicks or recoils, however you want to phrase it, more than what the 135 grain I have does, which is the Powerball. One reason, because the 135 grain uses a little less powder than what the 180 does. It's a reduced recoil round to begin with, but it's still pushing a 135 grain bullet at 1,300 feet per second. Simply because it's a lighter bullet. You know, it's got a little bit more kick than a 9mm, but less than what your other 40 millimeter handgun. Yeah, that would definitely be a single barrel. But yeah, the 40 Smith and Wesson. It's basically, so I'm gonna just go out there and say this with the issue with my elbow right now. Firing a full-on 40 Smith and Wesson 180 grain hollow point isn't comfortable, especially out of the shield. The Corbon Powerball, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
And it's traveling, and has the energy of, say, 357 SIG. So, I honestly think more manufacturers need to start producing 135 grain and 40 Smith and Wesson, or to 140 grain. Because one of the problems, I've said this before, and Clover and I got into it on one thing, because I said 180, 165 grain bullets are actually designed for 10mm, and they are. The reason why 40 Smith and Wesson is loaded in 180 grains is because that's what the FBI wanted when they put the order. We're working with Smith and Winchester on the 40 Smith and Wesson round. The reason why the 40 is loaded in 180 grain is because the FBI wanted that. Why? Because that was their 10mm load.
Right.
And they could have got much better performance out of a 135, 140 grain bullet than what they get out of the 180 grain. 180 grain bullet, you're looking at 400, I think it's 460, I think, on the hollow points I have. The Wolf Gold, which are made by PPU. This one, the foot-pounds energy is 526 out of 135 grain bullet. So, Yeah, I can imagine A&A. Right? I don't know if my arm can handle that right now. To be honest with you. Yeah, he's out there talking about how he was firing basically a Thompson contender hand cannon. So he says 458 he was shooting out of one. 458 Win Mag kind of round that he was shooting. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could do that right now. I wouldn't even want to try. To be honest with you, I know it's going to hurt afterwards. He said he only shot it once, and that was enough. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I got torn ligaments in my elbow, so I'm not even going to try shooting something like that right now. That would not be comfortable. If my arm were fine, I would try it. Torn ligaments in my elbow? Nope. It hurts to pick up a gallon of milk at times. I'm not even going to try shooting something with that much recoil. And then there's the whole problem at times where my hand just goes numb. So, yeah, that's another lovely thing. Getting old sucks. Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
what happened?
you look old.
It's the inside.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
I don't care. But anyway, hold on. Probably best if I put my camera back on so I can show where the problem with my arm is. Okay, right in here, guys. See right in here, this area, the ligaments that are right in there on your elbow. I have more than one tear in that area. Okay, and it doesn't swell to the outside; it swells to the inside. And right inside there, you have a nerve cluster. Okay, so what the swelling does on my arm right there is it puts pressure as it's pushing inward on that nerve cluster, which at times can make this all go numb or be extremely stiff feeling. And then when it gets stiff feeling, it actually gets to be where it hurts. I actually prefer when it goes numb because then I don't feel it. But yeah, that's the issue I'm having. And eventually, at some point, this is going to get straightened out where I can get. No, I'm not trying to flip people off. I'm naturally start pointing like that. So if anybody thinks I'm trying to flip you off, nope, sorry, not doing that. But anyway, I just find it easier, like on this situation, just pointing with my middle finger because my middle finger is longer than my other fingers. But yeah, right in here, that's where the issue is in my arm. This issue right in here, and that's what's keeping me from working because when your degree field is in criminal justice and a doctor says you can't work, you can't work. Yeah, that's exactly right, A and A. There's times when it just feels like I hit my funny bone and it doesn't go away.
Oh, you need to fix that.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but yeah.
Yeah, that's going to require surgery. But before I can get the surgery done, I got to get the okay from kidney doctor, and kidney doctor is a pain in the ass to try and get into at times. So, yeah. Not because there aren't kidney doctors out there. It's because I live in a small area and we don't have major hospitals. Like, if I still lived in Pittsburgh, I would have been into a kidney doctor and had the surgery done like how long ago. The last time I was scheduled to have anything done, something happened with my doctor's mother, and I couldn't. So, you know, what? Now I got to go through all that process again. Yeah.
Well, I hope your arm gets better.
Yeah, eventually. Eventually it's got to, right? I don't know if it can get any worse. That much I can say. We should have asked them if they could have give you the Steve Austin or um, what's her name? I can't remember the Bionic Woman's name now. Anyway, you should ask them if they could have gave you that. Did that. I mean, if it only cost $10 million for Steve Austin, and that was his arm, his leg, his eye, you know, they could have probably afforded with the arm, just the arm. I mean, that's a real thing, right? I mean, $6 Million Man's a documentary, right? Right? Nice trick. Are you falling asleep on me?
I'm tired. It's been a long week.
Yeah, I bet it has.
I'm preparing for a hurricane that didn't even come to South Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, we got storm surges and part of I-95's flooded, but
Yeah. I'm waiting to see what happens when it gets here with the ground already being completely totally saturated.
And you know what? We were supposed to get, quarter of an inch of rain. I don't even think we got that.
A quarter of an inch of rain here is going to be too much. If that's all we get, we've already been having flooding and there wasn't no hurricane. Yeah. There are schools in the area that have already that were closing for flooding on Friday when the hurricane was just hitting the Carolinas. You know what I mean? Yeah, we've already had flooding issues. This is just going to complicate things.
Anyways, but yeah, I've been doing this and that for family and dealing with my grandmother, and I don't want to get into that. So, but yeah, it's been a tiring week, so I'm a little tired. So I'm sorry if I'm dozing off. All right.
It happens. Like I said, I wasn't really even expecting you to show up tonight. To be honest,
I'm sorry I was late too. It's just I had to go and pick up food for the family because nobody wanted to cook. Luckily, everything was open in town because nothing happened. So.
Yeah. It's good. You're lucky anything was open because it's Sunday.
Oh no!
I don't know about down there, but around here, everything except for like Burger King and McDonald's closes early on Sunday.
Sunday, everybody's open here. I mean, it's just a normal day here. Even the local hamburger joint, the mom and pop shop, they're open. So.
And around here, everything's closing 8, 9 o'clock, except for Burger King and McDonald's.
Yeah, no, we got in my town. We got Burger King, McDonald's. We've got a Ruby Tuesdays. We've got Shoney's.
We got a Ponderosa still.
We've got an IHOP.
Yeah, we don't have an IHOP. We don't have a
KFC. We got a couple mom and pop restaurants, and then we got the Arby's. We got McDonald's, Burger King. Everything.
Yeah, we don't have Arby's either. There was a KFC.
We've got something up here that I don't think you have. They're in North Carolina, I know, but we've got a Bojangles. It's another type of chicken shop.
Yeah, I've had Bojangles before. We don't have them here, but I've been up and down the east coast. So yeah, I've had Bojangles.
So I go to a Bojangles like at least once a month just for the Bowberry biscuits.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know what a blueberry biscuit is, basically they take blueberries and they put it and they bake them into the biscuit. So instead of getting like a blueberry muffin, you get a blueberry biscuit, and then
And they're good.
they top it off with that same icing that you would put on like a toaster strudel. It's delicious.
Yep, they're good.
So, you know,
Yeah. The Greyhound terminal in Charlotte used to have the Bojangles in it.
oh yeah.
That was where when I was coming back from Fort Benning, that's where I got breakfast. And yeah, those blueberry biscuits are awesome. If you ever get a chance to get one of those, yeah, do it.
If you're ever in the Carolinas, check out a Bojangles. It's their chicken. It's not as spicy as Popeyes, but it's got that. It does have a little bit of a kick to the spice. You know, some of their chicken isn't spicy. So if you get like the chicken tenders, they're just normal chicken tenders. But if you get the actual, thigh and breast fried chicken, it has a little bit of kick to it with a little bit of spice, but not not as bad as Popeyes. Or I'll say it's not as they don't use as much as Popeyes. Because I've had Popeyes before, and I prefer Bojangles over Popeyes because Bojangles doesn't use as much spice in their crispy chicken.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember when the KFC's extra crispy actually was spicy, but I would compare Bojangles chicken to what extra crispy used to be, as far as the spice level is concerned. Again, it's not quite Popeye spicy, but it's.
I went to high school in Kentucky, so yeah, I like my KFC.
I don't know why they toned down the spice on the extra crispy. The extra crispy used to be so good with that. They had just the right amount of spice in it. And then they toned it down now to where it's the same spiciness as the original recipe.
The KFC where I went to high school was one of the KFCs they used for what do you know? Basically tested out some of their new products, and basically what they would do is on Sunday they would have a buffet, all you can eat for this price, and they would put all of their at the end of the buffet they'd have all their like new products that you try out and whatnot, and give them input on. So that was pretty cool. Well, let's be honest. All you can eat KFC. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they got that. There's one at the KFC in Cumberland has that. They have the all you can eat buffet. Yeah.
I always thought that was great because when I was younger, when my grandfather saw that, he was like, okay, we got to go here more than once.
I just wish KFC used real mashed potatoes. I am not an instant mashed potatoes fan.
Well, this was back in like the late '90s. Okay.
Yeah, well, they've been using instant mashed potatoes forever.
Yeah, I know they have. But,
Boston Market uses real mashed potatoes.
My grandfather used to love KFC.
I like KFC's potato wedges though; those are good.
He was especially fond of their biscuits.
KFC biscuit, yeah. I don't know. There's just something about the KFC biscuit, man. Get the KFC biscuit, you put some of that KFC chicken gravy on them.
Though I'm gonna tell you, since we were talking about fried chicken and food, Bojangles biscuits, not even the Blueberry biscuits, their regular biscuits are pretty damn awesome too.
Yeah. Didn't they have a cheese biscuit at one time too?
Yes, they did. I don't know if they still have it.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's been a while since I've been to one. That's why I was wondering. And they had the cheddar biscuit. It was similar to the ones you would get at Red Lobster, but better. Yeah, like I said, I haven't been to one of them in a long time. But they did have a KFC here in town, but it started sinking into the ground. Apparently, when they built the place, they didn't survey the ground properly, and the ground where they built it isn't stable. So they went back. Something happened, and they went and looked at the foundations and everything. The entire building had sunk an inch into the ground. Now,
That's not good.
no, that's not good. So the one KFC in town got closed.
You know, they had a KFC in my town, the one I live in now, but you know, I went to it all the time. But apparently, they decided, you know what, the one we have is pretty dingy, and we don't get enough traffic. So they built it over near the I-95 ramp, and they get a ton of they get more traffic over there. Plus, it's easier to get into now, and I like their new building as opposed to their old.
Yeah, we found something we're going to be going and checking out later this week here in the area. There's like this old timey style general store. They sell guns, groceries, woodworking, have their own restaurant inside the place. But we're going to be checking that out later this week. But
I'm running it. She might be back under 10:30 something.
you look, I'm trying to remember what the name of the place. Nobby Farm or something like that.
Knob Creek.
Yeah. Huh?
Knob Creek.
It's in Knob Creek, West Virginia. But it's like Knobley Farm or something like that. It's right down the road from here. The place is Knobley Farm Sports or something like that. And they have a Facebook page. And they have a bunch of pictures. I mean, when I say they have a gun store, they have a big gun store in there. And yeah, we're gonna go check that place out later this week. I don't know if I got their. See if I can pull up their Facebook thing. Give me a few minutes here, folks. Yeah. And I'm not signed into Facebook. That's why I'm not signed in. My wife signed in. I love when she uses my laptop without asking. Now I gotta try to remember what the hell my Facebook password is. There we go. Okay. Facebook's being stupid now. No, I don't want to. No, I don't want your notifications, Facebook. Find this place. I love trying to find things.
I think I'm gonna head out. I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, I'm gonna be closing this down here in a little bit.
So everyone out there watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you
Oh, there we go.
on one of the many shows that happens this week. So
Yeah, it's Knobley Farm Sports Shop. That's the name.
good night. Good night.
Hold on, let me bring this up real quick before you go. I'll screen share. Yeah,
Oh, wait.
Yeah, is this sharing? Yeah, this is.
No, it's not.
Oh, darn it! Why isn't it? Is it now? Are we sharing now?
Yes.
Okay, I clicked the share button.
That looks like a strip mall.
Yeah, but it's all one big store.
Okay. That's a clown.
Yeah, it's a clown. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff there.
Guns. SC Guns.
Yes. They do archery, guns, groceries, pizza.
Whoa. Hold up. You're saying I can get pizza and guns at the same place?
Yes, you can.
Okay, you're going to have to do some correspondence and be like our correspondence
See,
reporter.
look at this.
Go in and get a slice of pizza and buy a gun.
No, that's G-Web's job, man. You got to get a hold of G-Webs and tell him to go to this place. As part of his gun show loophole. Yeah. You see in these pictures? I mean, they have a garden department. They're an actual Smith & Wesson licensed gunsmithing shop, too, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
Or certified. But yeah, I mean, this.
You're going to have to link me to that. Give me that link to.
Huh?
Give me that link to Facebook. Copy the URL. Just post it here in the chat.
This is the place we are going to be checking out.
Is this near you?
Yeah, it's not too far from here. And there's the link to their picture page. Let me stop screen sharing that so we get it quick with the infinite windows. But yeah, we're going to be going and checking that place out this week. I mean, it looks cool from the pictures. They sell clothes and stuff too.
Nobley Farm Sports Shop.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'll take my phone if they let me. I'll get some pictures and stuff and put them over on like Instagram and maybe do a little video with the owner or something if they're up for it, maybe.
But if they do pizza and guns,
pizza, guns, ammo, wood crafts. I mean, they got a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, that was just a small part of their photograph section on their Facebook page. They have a gas station too, I might add. It's literally a one-stop shop.
I'm not one for going to West Virginia, but I am tempted. There's a reason my grandfather's family left West Virginia. Nothing there. Apparently, there's this place there, so I don't know. I may have to go check it out.
Yeah, that is literally a one-stop shop. I mean, guns, pizza, you need a new pair of shoes. There you go. They got that too. I mean, I don't think you're going to go there and do all your month's shopping for groceries or whatnot. But I think there was one picture I saw in one place that they actually do have a meat counter too. I wonder if it's one of those places where you can go like and buy.
They do fresh meat. They do ice cream. They do clothing.
Yeah.
Firearms. And something else. They block that out. Probably beer.
I'm sure they probably sell beer. Every store around here sells beer.
Yeah, they sell beer. Beer, pizza, ice cream, and fresh meat. All right. And guns.
Yes.
So apparently part of it's a diner?
Yes, I was about to say they also have a diner.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to give G-Webs this address to this place and say, G, you got to go to this place. They've got everything.
Yeah, right. I mean,
there's not many places where you can go and pick up a Beretta and have a slice of pizza at the same time.
Right.
While you're waiting for the 4473 to come back.
Yeah, waiting for your 4473, go grab a slice.
Right.
Or a burger, because it is a diner.
It is a diner, But oh my God, that's awesome. More places should be like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my wife gets paid Thursday. I think she said
they're also a gas station too, I assume, right?
Yeah, they have there's a gas station as well.
Yeah, so they have the gas station, so
And when I say they do wood crafting stuff, I'm talking like porch benches and porch swings and stuff like that's what they do.
So, are they always busy?
I haven't been there, so I don't know.
Okay.
I found them on Facebook, but like I said, they're just right down the road. So again, we just moved to this area. So on my wife's day off, which is Thursday, and I believe it's also her payday, we're going down there and check that place out. Because,
That looks awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? I bet you're glad you stayed for a little bit longer now, aren't you?
I may have to go to West Virginia just for that.
Oh, the place looks awesome. That's why we're going to check it out later this week. Like I said, if I can, maybe I can get the owner to, talk with the owner.
Do an interview or something. Do an interview.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Post up interview video. Maybe get some Facebook or Instagram pictures for it too.
Apparently, there's an old school bar and grill across the street, like an old school. It looks a bit like a old, what is it? An old West style building. See that?
No, I didn't see that part.
Yeah. Here, let me screen share real quick. See that?
Oh yeah.
That's the bar and grill, and trying to turn it around. I know I'm doing an awful job of that, but across the street, there's the building for it. They got a bar and grill across the street, so.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a nice setup.
That looks like a nice building.
Mm-hmm.
They got the diner on this side. They got the guns and everything else on this side, I assume. There's the gas station part.
Yep. And that's a local gas refinery place too. That's local to this area.
But across the street, they got this weird old school style bar and grill. See? I don't know if that's still in business or whatnot, but it's, they call it Hoover's Bar and Grill. Check that out. Do me a favor, check out that bar and grill too. You don't have to eat there, but at least go and look at it.
If it's still there.
If it's still there. All right. So, done screen share.
Yeah, that gas station, that's a local mom and pop brand kind of thing. They supply it's gas to little mom and pop chain. It's a little mom and pop refinery that supplies to a little mom and pop chain. It's not like a big nationwide thing. It's not like Exxon or Mobil or anything or Sheetz or Sunoco or any of the other major big ones. It's just a little thing called Holtzman. It's in this area.
Right.
And the guy that owns it, he's a conservative guy. Everything. So my wife actually used to work for him. The owner of the fuel company, I mean. She didn't work directly for him, but she's met him a few times. Yeah, he's a real nice guy and everything. Yeah, that's always a plus too. Not some big liberal ran organization or anything like that. Which is why their gas stations are all named Liberty, because he's a believer in the Constitution and whatnot. So, like I said, that's always a plus, right? Mm-hmm. My wife is destroying the kitchen, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some sleep. You have fun with trying to pick up the kitchen with her.
Yeah. My wife sounds like she's midnight range right now. And segue, folks, we're going to have to be starting to wrap this up because midnight's going to be getting underway here shortly. And I believe Gun Girls, if you want something to watch in the interim, is on now. So if you want to head over to Gun Girls and watch what they got going on, you're more than welcome to do that. And I'm going to be shutting
one last thing to say.
Shall not be infringed?
Shall not be infringed!
All right. And with that, folks, we will bid you adieu for this weekend, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Later, folks.
Bye, Felicia.